Right there.
Man, why you even move it?
I got to get comfortable.
All right, man. That's how we're going to start this thing.
It's my interview. Let me get comfortable, man.
Right.
I mean, you said either move it. You didn't say
you got it.
Man, why is it always a with me and you? It's always something, man.
I don't know, man.
If you just listen to me, everything gonna fall into place. But let me just, you know what I'm saying? Let me get comfortable. Yeah, I'm ready for you now. Let's go.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
What up?
What up, man? How you doing? Just passing through, huh? That's what the shirt say?
Yeah, man. You know, we're just passing through.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you could pass through here today. Young Kassie, McCurtis in the building. Yeah, man. Here perspective is everything, man. You one person that always provokes my perspective. It's like when I think back to when I first began to hear of you, I was being threatened with your name. You know what I'm saying? By your younger sister. I'm gonna tell my brother. I'm gonna tell Lil Ski. I was like, oh, Lil Ski. Oh, let me get my bad. You know what I'm saying? But
man, I just remember always hearing that too. I had to go home and tell it, man, stop putting my name and stuff. You
everything.
know?
Putting your name in.
Making me hide. I'm trying to stay low key, man. Like, dang. You know, but that's how she was, man.
Yeah. Nah, but you know, today, fast forward, because you're like a generation ahead of me, but fast forward today, we pretty solid, you know, compadres.
See.
You know what I'm saying? We and it's crazy how our bond even more developed, because just thinking back, I just got dismissed from the life sentence with all of the homies, and then, you know, I ended up coming back to Donovan to finish, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of time that I had left from the sentence I was serving before I got indicted into that case. And lo and behold, I land downstairs from you. You came in after me, Don? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came in. You ended up coming in, moving upstairs. We was trying like crazy to get in the cell together, talking through the vent.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember, man. I think we tried for like a month. Me going through different cellies and having to tell them each time, like, hey, man, yeah, I'm trying to move the homie from downstairs up here. You know what I'm saying? Kicking him out the cell. Well, not really kicking him, but it was like, it's just so you know, so you won't be surprised when they call, Smith, roll it up. Where you going? Downstairs. Jackson going upstairs. Right. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Yeah, I think that's where our bond really, you know what I'm saying, set, you know. And it was, man, we made the best of it, man. For real. We made the best of it. You know, and that current situation, you know.
My bad, Joe. I'm trying to get these audio levels right so we ain't blasting y'all's ears, but I don't want to worry about that right now. When we actually finally did get in the cell together, bro, that was probably the funnest time I've ever had doing time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I think we both played a part in kind of just helping each other transition through the day in the most joyful way possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause it's, you know, it's hard. It's hard. No matter how much time you've done, and you, at that point you had did a lot of time already. You know what I'm saying? Like, but no matter how much time you've done, or no matter what your experience is, I think having someone as a cellie that you can identify with and relate to, like from like the same like immediate area. I mean, it could be bad too. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't always.
It ain't always good, because you might get a homie that you thought you were cool with, but once you
living together,
once you're living together in that little tiny space, you know, and you seeing each other all the time, just some of his ways, or, you know what I'm saying, might irritate you, and, you know, or vice versa. And then you like, man, and next thing you know, you're all squabbling in the cell, boom, 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 tearing the whole cell up. Nah. I mean, so
CO like, walk by, y'all like,
right,
breathing, trying to hide the knot. You know what I'm saying? On one side of the toilet, like,
like you laying down, just.
No, we had fun though, man.
Most definitely, yeah.
We, you know, we developed a pretty solid bond. I think I would have never anticipated. You know, I had never really done. I mean, that whole time I was fighting the case, I was in the cell with Mad Slim from the neighborhood, but that was my first time actually doing that close and intimate time with someone from the gang. So it was like, but by the time I got to you, I had just experienced that miracle. My faith was like, I was committed to trying to just go home. And I remember you telling me too, like in the midst of our just developing in that season of our lives, you was like, you know, because you lived it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, just be careful, man. Like, don't get comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, make sure you stay focused. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, you can fall. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, miracles are miracles, and they set you straight for a minute.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you got to, like, revisit those miracles for some of us every day. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep perspective. Because if not, you know, that it's just like food, man. It'll only do you so good for so long, but once you stop putting food in your body, you know, you get hungry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Your body start doing different things. But what were some of the things that you were like, just outside of me, on your way to that cell, in the midst of that situation, what were some things that you were kind of like just preparing yourself for mentally? Like, because that was the beginning of that particular situation for you. But what were some things you were preparing yourself mentally for going in there, and then bam, you see me, and then it's just like, whether I made it easier for you or made it harder for you, you know what I'm saying? Like in some instances.
Well, you know, for me, it was always because I remember, excuse me, I remember the first time, you know, my first time going, you know, to the pen.
What year was that?
96. And
was it like a long term or?
No, it was 2 years. They gave me 2 years.
What, half or like 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years were half. And I was in Vista. I think I can't remember if we was in Upper West or Lower West, but I remember Harv was telling me, he was like, look, you know what I'm saying? Run with your homies, stay out of the, you know, saying the mess. And that'll get you through, you know, your time, you know, meaning, you know, run with your homies from the O, don't get involved with
all of the politics.
Yeah,
and
all that stuff, you know, so that always stuck with me. But, you know, once you get through that, you know, leaving from Vista, going from Bailey, which literally right across the street, they could walk you. And then, and then just going through that whole process. Now I'm like, okay, I'm fresh. I'm new termer. I need to find my homies. You know what I'm saying? Cause now this is, you know, this is real now, you know? So that was, for me, is like just trying to find, you know, like some homies from the O, you know, so I could be like, okay, cool. This my, you know what I'm saying? This my peoples, you know, and just make sure that I always stay out of the midst of, you know, other people's problems, you know, and that's what always got me through, you know. So I always kept that in mind on each of my prison terms. Mind you, I did 6 prison terms, 1 violation, you know, but I always remembered.
So that means you had 5 new terms, pretty much. No, you had 6 terms, yes. 1 violation.
1 violation.
But each situation that you were incarcerated for became a new term, pretty much,
right,
which means that a lot of people just get 1 term and have 6 violations.
Yeah, I was catching terms. Yeah. Terms. And so I always, and like I said, I mean, and after each term, I gained more and more experience. You know, it's kind of sad.
Did you have 1 number throughout all terms?
Yeah, oh, wow. Yeah, I had my K27483, 13 years.
Wow.
And I'll never forget that number, you know. I mean, that's just a number that always stuck with me. And I had it for 13 years. But like I was saying, each prison sentence, I felt like it just got easier and easier, you know, because you gaining that experience and, you know, so you know how to move yourself. You know, I'm not going in there fresh trying to be somebody that I'm not, I'm still carrying myself as I would out here as well, you know?
So let's rewind back to 92 for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the first thing comes to your mind? 92. First thing comes to your mind.
92.
Man, stop shuffling through all that stuff, man.
Something
come to your mind, man. I know.
I got to remember where I was at in 92. So 92, El Camino High School then, for me.
How old?
It was 16 maybe, yeah. Mm-hmm. 16, yeah.
92. Who got put on that year? 92.
Hold on, let me do the calculation. 86, 96.
Because I imagine every high school year you was in, somebody got put on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And for who you was at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm sure you was. I mean, you ain't gotta go into detail.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, usually there's like like people step in to the life, and it just the culture shifts. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, depending on who the crew is. You know what I'm saying? Right. And there's many crews within the gang, but you know what I mean? Like, but I'm going somewhere with this. So.
Right, yeah. So 92, who got put on? So me.
What was that like for you, man?
Oh man, I remember.
Like, what made you say?
You know what? Because I think it's my homegirl, you know, one of my best friends. Like, she grew up, you know, right there in the valley. So, and I always was, you know, on Arthur, even though I lived across the bridge in a good community, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I always wanted to go over to the, you know what I'm saying, right there to the hood, you know what I'm saying? Even my mom was like, don't let me catch you across that bridge. I'm like, all right, but I'll stay around the neighborhood for a minute, you know, just in case I might see her, you know. Then next thing you know, I'm across the bridge. So me hanging out over there, you know, I seen some of the homies, and then, you know, meeting, you know, some of the homies and stuff, and then going to school with them. I was just like, I don't know what possessed me that morning to say, I'm going to get put on.
Bro, that's just how it is. Like, you wake up one day and you just like, this the day.
And then I think, you know, also as well, me seeing G-Man, because G-Man at that time, he was dating my best friend's sister, you know, and me being over there, seeing him, you know, him and his brother, you know, I don't know, it just, like I said, that morning, it was just, I'm going to get put on. So I tell, you know, the homegirl, and she go around and tell the homies, they looking, I'm looking, and they see, no, we go to that, the 400 building inside?
Yeah.
It was going down.
You talking about across from the library area, right?
Yeah, inside the little building. You know, I mean, like the classrooms inside. So it was right there. That's where it went down.
Just boom, 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 right in the.
During the break. I think it was lunchtime, actually. Yeah.
And like walking throughout the rest of the day at school.
Hey, I'm gonna say, I didn't ball up. I handled mine. You know, I can't say. I wasn't just nah. You ain't finna just whoop on me. Mm-hmm. You know, but just walking, knowing I still had, because it was lunchtime. So after lunchtime, you got maybe 3 periods left, and knowing I got these knots on my head. I'm still walking around, people looking at me crazy. Some of the girls I liked looking at me crazy, like, dang, like. You got a baseball sitting up, and I still got to go home to tell mom, you know what I'm saying? To not even tell my mom, but she going to see what happens. So I got to make up something. I got to know fight, you know? So, yeah, it was all. I was like, man, just hurry me get this over with, get home so I can put some ice or something.
Yeah.
You know, but, yeah, 92.
And who put you on?
The homie T-Ski. Get Down, Lil Kilo, rest in peace. Keith, homie Cisco. Yeah.
Man.
First person I went after was Get Down. I already knew.
I'm sure.
I'm going after him first. So we tussle, boom, boom, boom. I'm denouncing. I just get grabbed, thrown around. I remember T-Ski, he grabbed me, threw me, boom, hit my head all against the wall. Just don't fall. That's the main thing. Don't fall. just keep trying to handle yours. That was my thing, man. Don't fall.
So did that situation make you closer with those individuals, or was y'all already had a bond that was pretty much?
I kind of already had a bond, but it was just more like, okay, it's the homies now. And so I think I would say it kind of more cemented our relationship. Yeah.
Okay.
So
from that point, we'll just travel on up to 98. Where you was at, incarcerated?
98, yeah. Yep. I was just on my second term.
In between that time of you getting put on in 98 on your second term, what was the thing that you were beginning to identify about yourself that just seemed like was not going to like be altered? You know what I'm saying? But like, was there a point where you were just like I'm pretty, vicious, or I'm pretty like not quite as vicious as others. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's funny that you say that, because I was, how can I put it? Like, I always had a heart, you know what I'm saying? But I knew, once I became from the turf, you know what I'm saying? It kind of shifted a little bit, but I was the one that was like, I would give passes, like, even though I'm by myself and I might got the heat or whatever, I was still more, you know what I'm saying? I still had a heart, you know what I'm saying? But like, okay, I'm gonna give him a pass because he's with his mom or, family, but just know, I you know what I'm saying? I see you, I seen you. So, I still was the same, I could say, I didn't get more vicious. Like, I still was just being me, you know what I'm saying? Still, just have that heart, I think that helped me, just getting through, the years and years of, just running through the deep, more so, or, wherever else,
The more and more your heart began to change, did it become, like, what did that do with, like, between the relationship between you, your mom, because you got two sisters and a brother, so, like, your home life, you know what I'm saying, the more active you became and the more, obligated to, you know what I'm saying, your commit that you became, like, as you approached your release from that second term, because when did you get out? You was in 98 on the second term, but when did you come home?
96, let me see, 96, I got out 97, went back 98, so I got out 99.
And what was the atmosphere like when you stepped did you step in the home with Martha? Or
yeah,
did you?
Yes. I went back home, and I still was, I still was myself. Nothing really changed about me. I'm still, home is home. But when I leave the house, you kind of got to shift. And now you know what I'm saying, you constantly, for me, like watching my back, and just making sure that, I won't get caught slipping, in the streets, excuse me, so, but like I said, home was home. I always kept, home. It's like they say, you leave work at work, and when you going home, you know what I'm saying, leave work at work, and you going home, you kind of, I never switched up on my family or anything like that. It was more so just, I'm in these streets. I know what I, done, or I know what they're, trying to do to me. So, now I gotta shift, and make sure, I make it home, and don't get caught slipping.
How often did you think about them when you was, was it different as far as like, did you think about your mom and your sisters and your brother in a different way the first term than you did the second term, or were you becoming to be a little like desensitized to just like your thought life and like what your expectations were of yourself when you came home, like as far as obligations to the gang and obligations to like what Martha wanted or like the family, needed? Because you were the big brother, so.
Yeah, I always, like I said, already, nothing changed at home. I always, miss me. I think everybody miss their family once they're taken away. So you always say, when you get out, so I'm gonna change. But it usually don't kind of work that way, and like I said, it didn't for me, because I know, I got the homies out there. I got my little certain homies I want to, kick it with every day. And then, but at the same time, I got my family that misses me and want me to come home. You know, so I think I was on that right track for a little bit, trying to, just stay away, but still kick it with certain homies. But eventually, you kind of divert back to, okay, here we go again. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
When did eviction? When did addiction become like a reality for you? When you was like, I'm addicted to, whether it was the gang, the culture, a substance. Like, at what point, or did you even realize? Like, let me ask that question. Like, would you even look at it with your, and we'll get into this, like, with your experience and your recovery and your survival of addiction of substances, would you ever put like being addicted to gangbanging or addicted to the culture in the same category as substance abuse or substance addiction? No,
I wouldn't.
Yeah. Okay.
That's two different lives.
Right. Unpack for us, like, the reality of you stepping into substance abuse, addiction becoming a reality to you, and then like the two different lives for you actually like becoming like, I'm from the set and I'm bang and I'm active and this is what it is, but this addiction just for whatever reason is just, this is two different monsters.
And then I think you pretty much explained it right there, because for me, once I fell into the addiction, like I think I said this before, I still hung out with the homies, but I wouldn't hang out with them unless I know I had, my substance. So I kind of veered more away from homies, like going to functions and, or just linking up with certain homies. That was behind me. Now it was just that more of that, I need that substance, because if I don't have that substance, I'm not going to get through today. If I didn't have that heroin for that day, I'm not gonna do nothing. My whole mindset is to how I'm going to get high for today, to feel normal, to be able to function, to maybe possibly go hang out with some homies and knowing I got, my substance in my pocket, I got a sack in my pocket. But like I said, the homies was pushed to the back now. Like, okay, it was more, it wasn't even about, gang banging or anything like that. It was more so just
lightweight survival, huh? In a whole nother way.
It's a whole nother job. It's a job, and it was tiring. But at that time, I was young, still fresh into it. I wasn't tired. I wasn't tired of chasing it and living my life like that every day. Because I wanted to get high. I wanted to go hang out with, homies or friends and still function. But I knew I couldn't, because that's what was controlling me at that time,
At what point did you start like trying to stop chasing and start like fighting back for I'll just say Kassie, for a lack of better, for lack of having to explain, like just trying to snatch back your identity outside of addiction or outside of the gang? And did one come before the other, or did they both kind of come simultaneously? Like, did you like start shooting for, man, I'm gonna shake this monkey off my back, and like, but like the gang, man, like that's just me, it's who I am? Or was it the other before the other, or was it simultaneous?
I think I could say I slowly started veering away from, homies. I slowly started veering away from homies because we're starting to grow up now. Everybody starting to do their own thing, either with their families or they're doing something in the community, or some homies probably still, getting locked up, or, or they might be in their addiction. So you start slowly, removing yourself, but you still keeping in contact with, homies still, you still checking in on them, and I guess by whatever they're doing, that's their thing, but me, it was still, I mean, I was still, you know, keep in contact with, you know, some of the homies and, you know, just to check in on them, you know, just see how they're doing. But as for my addiction, that's what it was about at the time. And I didn't, you know what I'm saying, I didn't want to snatch my identity, you know what I'm saying, and me snatching my identity back didn't come for you know what I'm saying, for years. Mm-hmm. And that was 2015.
Walk us into like 2015. Was it like a rock bottom, or was it like a beneath rock bottom and you had to climb up and just chill at rock bottom, and then you stood up and just found your legs and started walking, or like how was it?
Nah, it was, well, because I, you know, mind you, like I said, because I had fell back into addiction after being clean for so long in 2013. You know, I was working, making good money. And I think at that time it was more so, I was like, okay, wow, you know, I could control it this time. You know, I didn't really know, you know, I mean, like, I didn't really know about not being able to control it. You know, so I was just thinking that I could control it, I could do it, I could dip and dab here and there. But it don't work like that. You know, you dipping and dabbing, that dipping and dabbing becomes, you know, a habit. You know, and I mean, for me it did. You know, it became a habit again. So from 2013, like I said, I fell back into addiction. I was in that addiction until 2015, and that's when I hit rock bottom. Like I started losing stuff. You know, I lost my job. I ended up getting rid of my car. You know, because you know I don't have the money to get it fixed, to be able to get it smogged, and you know, stuff like that. So, I mean, and, you know, like the little money that I did get, I'm not going to try to fix my car, you know, so I'm going to go do what I got to do, you know, just to, you know, get high for the day. So I lost that. My relationship was pretty much done, you know, but I was still just lingering around, you know, with nowhere to go, you know, more so. Yeah, so, I mean, then, like I said, at that point, 2015, I was like, I think that was the time where it just beat me. All those other little years, you know, me going back and forth, you know, the prison behind the drugs, like, you know, so those are just little taps. Like, okay, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna be clean this time. Stay clean, maybe 6 months, go right back. So I was being snatched off the streets before I could really hit rock bottom like I did in 2015, and that's because I was off paperwork. You know what I'm saying? So I could, you know, move, you know, so I don't have to worry about a PO coming to, you know, arrest me or going to have to go, you know, drop, you know, and then worry about if I'm dirty. No, I didn't have nobody to report to, you know? Mm-hmm. So I was more free with it, but I was being more careful by not doing crimes. You know what I'm saying? So I just try to be, you know what I'm saying? So I was just trying to be more careful, and then that just led to me just spiraling, you know, because I didn't have nobody to really save me and take me off the street. So I was just out there more freely, just getting high, doing stupid stuff, you know.
I'll never forget, man, I was in, man, I think it was 2016, or it might have been, it was 2016. I remember just being in, I'm in that mode. I'm on my way out. You know what I'm saying? I have pretty much almost 8 years in now. You know what I'm saying? No, I actually had 8 years and 5 months or so in. But I remember being in a prayer circle, and I remember like mail call, and I remember getting a letter from you.
Yeah.
Bro, and I remember you, and it's crazy because you didn't know this, but I was asking God, like, how am I going to get out and be pushing for you, or just living on the other side of what I believe my identity was all those years? Like, in prison, I was able to do it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then now I'm walking it out in my environment, but I had never been who I was identifying myself to be consciously outside of incarceration. You know what I'm saying? It started 2 years in. I was able to kind of like step away from the activities of just participating and just the gang, you know what I'm saying, like reality and in that identity. And then I started identifying as Timothy. And then here it is, 2016. I get a letter from you. And I'm praying. I'm like, Lord, you got to like connect me with somebody I can actually do this with. Mind you, you're one of the people I was on the phone with when I caught my case. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just you were helping me like get through, you know what I'm saying, those first few months, you know what I'm saying, of just fighting the case and get sentenced and then I'm off. And then I remember when I heard you got locked up again, I was just like, dang, you know what I'm saying? But here it is, 2016. 16, and I get this letter and it's you know what I'm saying, talking about how the Lord got a hold of your heart.
Yeah.
And that like, you know, when you come home, bro, we gonna make it count, like, you know, and to know that you was there, you're like, I'm here for you, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it was just crazy, man. Like, I remember going back to the prayer circle and I just remember like, I was crying because I was like, you know, some things you be looking for God to answer a certain way.
Right.
And then when he actually answers in this way, right, at a particular time and moment, you just get, you like, dang.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't expecting to get that answer until I got out and had to walk it out and like run into, you know, a situation or a circumstance where, you know, a homie that transitioned was just like, bro, I'm here too. But it's like he was giving me that confirmation that you was going to be someone I can link with and walk out that path with. Mm-hmm. What were some of the like non-negotiables for you once like that immediately happened? Like once God was like, Kassie, this is what it is. Like the monkey's off your back now.
Right.
You can feel it. Like this is what it is. Like what were some of the things that, because he can't make those choices for us, right? Like we have to negotiate in the beginning with ourselves. Like this is what we not compromising. This is what we probably gonna have to battle with, but this is what we not doing. This is where we not going, and this is what we not entertaining. Like what were some of those non-negotiables for you concerning like protecting yourself from, you know, like falling back into addiction?
Well, I remember, like I think I was telling you before, I remember, you know, I was trying to kick and I was laying on my bed and I asked the Lord, like, I remember asking him, like, you know, so my wife, she had just left, well, she's my girlfriend at the time, but she had just left to go, I think, get me some, like some Gatorades or something like that, pain meds. And I remember just laying on that bed.
And these Gatorades and these pain meds are actually being purchased for the purpose, not for hydration or like not for, but to help you to cope with kicking heroin.
Yeah. You know,
because of the sugar content.
Yeah. And I remember, you know, sitting there on that bed and I said this out loud to myself, Lord, please take this pain away from me, but don't put me back in jail. That's it right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, help me. I'm calling you. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling you. And, you know, his word says, you know what I'm saying, if you call on to me, you know, I'm going to come rescue you. Mm-hmm. But at that time, I didn't know, but I just knew, like, this is it, dude. I'm done. Come help me. And, you know, for me, and then I think probably about 3-4 days later, I was in Florida. I'm not gonna negotiate nothing because this is what I need to do. Mm-hmm. I called on to him. He delivered. Now I got to do my part. You know what I'm saying? He did his part. You know what I'm saying? Get me, you know what I'm saying, to where I need to be. Now I just have to walk. You know what I'm saying? Walk it now. You know, and I think for me, you know what I'm saying, more so it was once I got there, then that's when I started to, you know.
So that was the non-negotiable. Like, I'm not staying out here.
No, I'm not. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. I got to go. I'm not finna go. No, well, if you just, okay, and I promise get up, pack your stuff, you're going to Florida. Because I couldn't do it in Vista. I wouldn't have did it in Vista in any other, treatment center. I wouldn't, especially out here where I know where I could go. Because once it starts kicking in, that them days go by, and you're getting antsy and sweating, and oh my God, I'm leaving Florida. I got nowhere to go, which I did leave out there, but my brother came and found me, and because I thought I was closer to his house than what I was. But I went back and went through it and stuck it out. But that's where I think that's where my relationship with the Lord really became more solid. Reading His Word and just seeing how His Word is, coming to pretty much to life. From reading His Word and seeing it happen, like, man, this is it. When I get out, I'm sticking to staying sober. And and that goes for not drinking. Not even smoking weed or anything. I'm just gonna ride it out with you, man. You delivered me. You kept. You did your part, and I'm gonna do mine now.
So from 2000 and this took place in 2016?
No, 2015.
15.
Yeah.
And then
February 27, 2015.
And then you came, when did you arrive back in Oceanside?
Let me see, February, March, April, like May.
May of 2015.
15. Because,
wow, okay.
Yeah, because it was a 60-day program, inpatient program that I had to complete. So,
and how many years of sobriety do you have today?
7.
Wow.
7. February of next year will be 8.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Because that's bigger than what I believe, like, people every day, right? It's a day at a time.
Yeah.
But 8 years?
Yeah. Going on 8, yeah.
That's a big deal. And without every last one of the moments of those 8 years have walked you into, you and your wife,
right,
into the reality that you are today. Because had you not been sober, and had you not fought through that, those moments of sobriety where obstacles come up against you, you wouldn't even consider entrepreneurship, which is what we're going to transition into now. Like, there was a point where, and I remember every job you had, bro, that's all you said, bro. This is not really a job to me. It's just
always
an opportunity.
Complaining about
Yeah, you would be complaining at times, but you would be like, bro, all I tell myself is that, Kassie, stop complaining. This ain't a job. This is an opportunity for God to use you,
right,
to connect with people,
right,
and to help people,
right,
and to serve people,
right.
Because whether you was driving or whether you was doing some type of IT stuff, you were servicing people.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and that walked you right into a position of, like, I remember it's crazy when I look at your story too at that point, because you're like, I'm done working for people. Like, now I'm going to serve in this way. I'm going to start a company. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what we're going to do yet, but we got the faith to start a company.
Right.
And we're going to serve that way. And so now, here you are. It's 2022. And tell us a little bit about what the venture is that you've started. And now almost a year into now, right? Or a little bit.
Almost 2 years now.
Almost 2 years, I'm sorry. Yeah,
right.
A little bit over a year. You know what I'm saying? But you and your wife, Nicole, have pretty much, you stepped into with faith a little while ago, and now, you know what I'm saying, like, that's the main source of income, and, like, it's actually, it's sustaining you, you know what I'm saying,
right.
in a way. But, like, how sobriety played a part, in that.
Well, I mean, first I give, my wife, pretty much all the credit. Excuse me. I give her the credit, but it's still God first, because He made everything happen. But she was the one that was really push me, to, taking that step to start a business. Cause, and I say that because, like, I remember when we sold our house, so we had the money, like, either we're going to buy another house or we're going to start a business. And me, it was just like, I didn't want that, like, that stress of starting a business or, you know, keeping a business running. You know, it was just, I think it was fear. But her just constantly, you know what I'm saying, on me about it. Go get your CDLs. Go get your CDL. But why wouldn't you want to do this? You know, for some, you know what I'm saying, somebody that, you know what I'm saying, that has a background. I mean, that came from a background that you did, you know what I'm saying, that you've done, came from. So it was more her just on me and me sitting back thinking like, man, this is an opportunity, you know, to be able to, I mean, I've always dreamt it, you know what I'm saying, of having just working for myself. So now I had to play that back, like, this is your opportunity, you know, so make it count. And, you know, like you said, I wouldn't have been in this position if I was still, you know, using me. Her wouldn't even be together. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know where I would be at.
Let me rewind real quick, like, because I know, you know, and I'm glad that you mentioned that reality, because the support to start the company, I know that's not the only time that she, like, really, really, really believed in you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
She's believed in you, obviously, right, that you could get sober. But there was a point where I'm sure she was just like, look, man, like, you got to get right or you're going to get left. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but at the same time, she was blind for that time that I was, you know what I'm saying, using. She was blind to the fact that, you know, that I was using. Because I played it so.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Like,
okay.
I played it
she
so,
didn't even really know.
She was catching wind, but.
So you must have got caught. You must have got caught up then or something.
No, well, through my brother.
Mm-hmm.
No, because my brother knows how I look when I'm healthy or when I'm using, you know what I'm saying? Because he's been through it with me for years and years. Her, she didn't know, but our relationship was just crumbling.
It was fractured.
So, but still, she didn't know, and I was just being that dope fiend, you know, that slick, you know what I'm saying? I ain't doing nothing. Always getting myself like wiggling out of it, like, man, don't listen to them, you know, just being slick, you know,
slick and slithery,
and slimy, and getting out of it every time. Like, don't listen to them. They just want, you know, because their relationship, you know, trying to divert it to them and get it off of me. So it was working every time until
just a little skeester. Yeah, I can only imagine, bro.
But my brother, I think he ended up coming out. And he seen me, and he told her, you know what I'm saying? And then I remember she left the house that day. She left the house, and she came back flying up our driveway. We had like a nice little steep driveway. Came flying up. Let me see your bank account. See my bank account for what? I'm like, well, I got no money in this bank account. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm working, I should have some savings. You know what I'm saying? I don't got nothing in like some cents. I was like, man, for what? Just let me see your bank account. Like, mind you, I'm still in addiction. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to, you know.
Trying to be slick.
Yeah, the phone, you know what I'm saying? The phone, you could just look at it, you know what I'm saying, nowadays, and then unlock an app or whatever. And I'm like, man, I can't remember the password. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to log in, just playing it off. She's standing there. Look, you need to tell me if you're using right now. And when she told me that, I'm like, where did this come from? Because she left. Now she come back and she's talking about, mind you, I already been playing the game so long. I'm tired of the excuses. I'm tired of making up these lies. So she need to tell me right now, are you using or not? I'm like, what are you talking about? Let me see. I said, I can't even get in. I don't know why it's not letting me get in. Like, look, and then she just told me, like, look, just tell me. And at that time, bro, I was just like, I'm done. I was mentally tired. I was physically tired. I just had to tell her, get this over with. She's like, I'm not going to break up with you. So I'm like, okay, cool. She ain't going to break up. Okay, so I'm just telling her she's going to be there for me. And I tell her, yes, I'm using. You get the stuff. Get out of my house. And I just broke down because I was, like I said, everything just, I felt relief, but I didn't want to lose this person. You know what I'm saying? This person.
That's what vulnerability does too, though, man. Once you can just, and you just open, bro, and that vulnerability of just saying, yes, I am. Yeah. It opens you up for the healing process to start.
And that's what it took. That's what it took for me to just let it go and be honest with her and tell her, and like I said, so I told her, got it off my chest. I was hurt because I feared that I'm gonna lose somebody that I really, really like,
care about,
yeah. But
and that really cared about you and loved you.
Yeah. So
I mean, I only spent a little bit of time with you in that cell, bro, and I'm telling you, like, there's something about your spirit, something about what Martha did, you know what I'm saying, raising you up, and just your personality, your characteristics. Some of us get it innately, you know what I'm saying, but you can tell, like you said, your heart, like that type of heart that'll give a pass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when it probably ain't deserved, but you just got a heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of the things that communicated to my spirit well when we were in the cell together, which is why, like, I knew when you did write that letter, or I knew when you did step into, starting the business for the purpose of just being available for God to do more through you, but just now in the entrepreneurial field, that it was just genuine, you know what I'm saying? Right. And so if you can, as we transition on out, you know what I'm saying, like, unpack real quick, how it's been, you know what I'm saying, since you and Nicole stepped into this journey, and how it's built you guys, and how it's, I'm sure going into business like this together, you know what I'm saying, like, it solidifies and kind of grows your marriage too.
Right. And like I said, I mean, we've always had that bond, even before we were, together as boyfriend and girlfriend. We was just still
tight.
But I think now it's just us, having this business really, really brought us together, because honestly, like, she's the backbone. She handles all the paperwork, all making sure stuff is.
Shouts out Nicole.
Yeah. Shout out to my wife Nicole.
Yeah.
She handles everything. Me, I'm not the paper type of person. You know what I'm saying?
Administratively, that's really not your angle.
That's not me. I don't like to sit there and have to read, like, okay, fill this in, send this. I don't like that. Mm-hmm. But like I said, she handled everything, you know what I'm saying? And so I give, like I said, everything, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it was all on her back. And she handled it well. It was stressful, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, it was stressful for her because it was, like I said, it was more at administrative part that she had to do, and not knowing, because this is fresh for both of us. Me, I was just more so sitting back and waiting for the time to come where I have to carry the load, literally, you know what I'm saying? Like, now I got to go to work now. She handled her part. Now you get out there and do your part and make sure we do it well, and also make sure I do it well, carry myself well, you know what I'm saying? Because this is our future. And I mean, there's times where it gets stressful, because I think she don't really understand, like, the construction business, but I think she understands a little bit more now, because my brother-in-law had to talk with her. But because construction just slows during this
certain seasons. Yeah.
Like right now, it's starting to slow down. Like, like I had Friday off because it rained. I mean, I'm not bringing in no income, but now it's really about to start slowing once the seasons, like
the rainy season,
October, November, December, all that stuff. And I think it's just more us just keeping faith together. You know what I'm saying? That that God's gonna continue to carry us and not abandon us. And knowing that He put us in this situation. You know what I'm saying? So, so we could have a better lifestyle. You know, and so I mean, our bonds, like I said, our bond always been tight, because if it wasn't, she would have left me when I went to Florida. But she seen something, in me to give me another chance.
With where you're at today in life, with where you're at today in your marriage, with where you're at today spiritually, what would you say the point of you is, like? And when I say that, like, the point of view for you, like VIEW, and the point of, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as who you've become, trekking through all of that lived experience and all of that survival, who are you today? What is, like, your main, like, mantra or perspective in life? And what would you leave, on the table for our community, the point of view community to kind of like walk away with, or what would you point out for them to walk away with as a result of everything you shared today?
I'm gonna just straight up say God. He's the point of everything. If you're not in that relationship with Him, you know what I'm saying, and you know, having that relationship with Him and let Him work in your life, and you trying to control your life, you know, a certain way, it's not going to work that way. You know what I'm saying? There's a scripture, you know what I'm saying, we make our plans, but you know what I'm saying, but the Lord establishes our steps. Mm-hmm. And until you understand that, like, you know, so you're going to continue to probably go around and around in circles and circles and circles. And it took a while for me to understand that. You know, I can make my own plans, but God really establishes our steps into where He wants us at in our lives, you know what I'm saying? And to once you give up that, you know what I'm saying, that will, and say, look, Lord, I'm here. Use me, you know what I'm saying? You're going to continue to be, you know what I'm saying, wandering around, you know, for years to come, or unless something happens, you know. But He's my main focus. I am a man of God. I put all my trust in Him. You know, there's times where I do feel like, oh my gosh, I know, where I start to stress, but I have to sit back and understand, like, He has me. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get me through this. You know, so once I, you know what I'm saying, revert back to that, like, just kick back, you know what I'm saying? He hasn't failed me yet. You know what I'm saying? Everything's on His timing. Just sit back and wait and let Him do what He's going to do. You know, and for me to just know that He brought me out of, you know, my addiction, and for me to be able to sit here and talk about, you know, my experience in my life, you know, that, you know what I'm saying, that means a lot to me, because like I said, I wouldn't be able to, you know what I'm saying, sit here and be able to sit in front of you and share my experience, you know, with you. Right. You know what I'm saying, that might have, you know, that might can help, you know, somebody else that's going through an addiction, or, you know, saying the gang life or whatever, you know, just, I mean, not even those, just life problems, just life, just life problems, you know. And I had to learn that, you know what I'm saying, the storm's going to come, you know what I'm saying, but eventually they're going to pass, but you got to keep that faith, you know.